All right. A little shade in here. So, is the run game going to lead us down the stretch? Is the run game going to lead us down the stretch? But before I get to that, before I get to reviewing the game, before I get to my analysis on TVD, I wanna talk about two things that have kind of irked me. Um, my favorite grifter. Hey, I'm glad I surpassed Tariq, Ellen. But what's up, Everyday Kane? So it's two things that irked me, right? So yesterday I saw someone tweet something. They said, you know, Coach Cristobal inherited a mess and he had unrealistic expectations, right? So I'm not gonna necessarily get into the whole mess. I did a video about that, last season, so I'm not gonna get into that. I want to talk about the unrealistic expectations, though. However, unrealistic expectations, in my opinion, are things that we have not seen you do before. Unreal. That's what unrealistic expectations are to me, right? So when Coach Cristobal was hired, one of the key things that I heard was he rebuilt Oregon. Well, guess what? That rebuild took 2 years. So it's not unrealistic expectations. And obviously, when you rebuild something, that means that you're taking you're redoing the culture, because it was also stated that Mark Helfrich allowed for that culture to crash, right? And as bad as we've been, we have not posted a 4-win season, right? So it's not unrealistic to say that we should be competing for an ACC championship in year two. It's not unrealistic because you did it at Oregon. It's not unrealistic, right? So I didn't like that, right? I really like that, right? And there was another thing that I saw where someone said that they're seeing something from this team that they haven't seen in years, and that's fight. And I said, wait a minute now. I saw fight in 2021. I saw fight in 2017, 16, 15, 13. I've seen fight multiple years, right? So I didn't I didn't necessarily agree with that either. But it kind of is what it is. And then someone told me that Mark Richt is responsible for the the trenches, right? He's responsible for the setback in the trenches, right? And the current point that we're at right now in this particular season, we've seen this before, right? And so the overwhelming consensus about, okay, the reason that it's different now than it was in the past is because no other coach is going to attack the trenches or has attacked the trenches like Coach Cristobal. I don't agree with that. Now, a statement that I would agree with is if you said that there's no other coach we haven't had a coach with the expertise along the offensive line like Coach Cristobal. I would agree with that. But to say that we have not had coaches in the past that are focusing on the trenches, that's not true, right? For instance, there's 3 guys right now that are starters at Power 5 programs that were recruited by the University of Miami, signed with the University of Miami. One of those players is obviously Jalen Rivers. We beating FSU. I'm going to get to that. Jalen Rivers, starting left tackle here. John Campbell, starting left tackle at the University of Tennessee. And Corey Gaynor, the starting center at the University of North Carolina. Those are 3 guys that came in under the Mark Richt, Manny Diaz regime that are starting at Power 5 levels. So they may not be the eye-catching guys or whatever the situation is, but those are 3 guys. Those are 3 guys that very well could, probably could be here and playing. You know what I mean? Especially John Campbell. Corey Gaynor probably be on the bench, but that's what that is. But those 2 things or whatever. But if anyone has that mindset, if you want to come on the show, I would love to have you. If you want me to come on your platform, I would love to have you. I like to debate a little bit, right? Because I think sometimes a lot of these narratives get started, and people don't check people, right? So, are we beating FSU? I don't know. I have a better answer after this week, though. I promise I will. So, let's talk about the ibis in the room. Let's talk about Tyler Van Dimes or Tyler Van Dam or just Tyler. Let's talk about that, right? So, it's a show that I listen to in Detroit. It's called the Valenti Show, right? Um, Starring Mike Valenti and his co-host Rico Beard. And Mike Valenti said something that made me really stop and think for a second. What's up, QB? On the show, he stated that prior to NIL and players being, as he refers to them, paid mercenaries at this point because the loyalty to the school is no longer there. It's getting wild about. It's getting wild. Hey QB, hey, we about to get right on that. I promise we about to get right on that. And at one point in time, prior to all of this, fans had a certain restraint in reference to players. They wouldn't necessarily jump out the window talking about them. But now since they're being paid, the amateurism is pretty much gone, and so now that it's open game. Are you surprised as a Miami fan how TV is playing? Because I'm not. I knew what I expected from it. I don't know why fans get upset about him. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get to it. Hey, I guess let me run the hurry up offense. Let me stop pontificating, bloviating so much. But TVD is in a very interesting situation right now. He's in a very interesting situation. TVD is in a position that none of his predecessors were in, similar to Coach Cristobal. And this is what TVD has at his what he has that his predecessors didn't have. For one, you getting the NIL. You're being paid to be here. For two, you have the best offensive line that a quarterback has had here since 2014. We don't know about the hurry up Bethune. I don't know. Three, you got to have an input on who the offensive coordinator was, right? None of your predecessors had that. And then you couple that with the fact that you're right slap dead in the middle of this new social. I sat behind the TV for our last game. He was going crazy. He was in disbelief how he was playing. Oh wow, that's crazy. Um, and social media is so rampant right now. Like TVD is getting more ridicule right now than Ja'Cory Harris did. And when Ja'Cory Harris was here, social media was in its infancy. So now you got PFF, you got all this, you got more Twitter people, you got more people on Facebook, you got more people on Instagram, TikTok, all this particular different stuff. You got people like, like Coach 30 that does parodies of, film study and stuff like that. So you got a lot out here. And TVD, you're the central point of it. You were the anointed one after D'Eriq King went down. And then Jake Garcia comes to town, and all of a sudden, well, Jake is better than TVD. You won that battle. So then last year, man, I think Ja'Cory is better than TVD. You won that battle. But now, you got all of this stuff. TVD deserves most of the blame, but there are other factors the offensive people are ignoring. And we gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it because I'm not as bent out of shape about TVD as some people are. I'm really not. I'm really not. And now you got Emory, and unfortunately, I've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie. We just saw it. We just saw this movie in 2021. It had some of the same actors, but it had a different director, quote unquote head coach. We saw the baton get passed from D'Eriq King to Tyler Van Dyke when injuries prevented him from playing at that level. Now, I'm of the mindset right now that TVD is in a very precarious situation because the attributes, the physical attributes that you had over the two guys that are on the bench, you no longer have those anymore. Like that first interception, right? We're sitting in the champagne room and watching it, and we like, man, why would he throw it there? He got Brashard right there. He got the tight end out in the flat, even though he wasn't looking that direction. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself after I kind of replay it back in my mind, TVD makes that throw 9 out of 10 times. We've seen him make that throw. There was never a TVD Ja'Cory battle. Ja'Cory came in with the mindset the red shirts are freshman, not battle TVD. Hey, well, Birdstone, you can't have that mindset. I like Ja'Cory. Well, Ja'Cory. I like Ja'Cory, but you can't have that mindset that you come in here the red shirt because you see what happened. And especially knowing that just a year prior, the guy that's in front of you, look at how he won his job. He was able to finish the 2021 season out because of an injury to a quarterback. So now I'm not taking any shots at Ja'Cory, but you can't come in with that mindset. You got to come in day one ready to compete. Ja'Cory not the answer either. I'm going to give an answer. I don't know if it's the answer, but I'm going to give an answer to this. But getting back to that throw, we've seen TVD make that throw multiple times. We've seen him make that throw multiple times. But again, people have talked about, yes, sure, I pronounce it right. Well, I always try to pronounce Ja'Cory's name right. I always try to pronounce it right. I don't know where I was getting Ja'Cory from, but Ja'Cory. But yeah, Elliot, hey, thanks for keeping me on my toes. It's people been talking about the velocity of the passes, the velocity being there, the velocity not being there when he throws a lot of these passes. And that was a pass that the velocity was not there, but we've seen him make that throw. So again, to borrow something from Shannon Sharp, if you step out on that field, irregardless that you got a knee brace on, irregardless you got some extra padding around your ribs, irregardless of you may have something on your shoulder or your index finger, Ja'Cory knew he needed to develop as a passer, same as Hurts. He wasn't throwing like crazy his first year at Bama, but he was further along as a passer than Ja'Cory. 2 Miami podcasts listen to beefing over this subject. There's a lot of people beefing over this subject, QB. It's really a lot of people beefing over it, and I don't know why. But like I said, I'm just going to give my answer on it. Birdstone, as far as a passer, but bruh, I don't like. This is just this is just my opinion. My opinion. A lot of Ja'Cory's accuracy issues can be remedied by giving him larger pass catchers. Simple as that. I'm not making a grand declaration, but I feel like that if Ja'Cory was the quarterback, we would be seeing more passes to Kobe. We would be seeing more passes maybe to the tight end because you can't miss those big targets. Right? Isaiah Horton may, be more involved. May not be so much to X, but I'm just still in disbelief that one man is being chastised over a missed pass. I've seen NFL greats miss that particular throw. It happens, but for whatever reason, that is up until this particular point. That's his career. But again, I discussed that 2 weeks ago. But he no longer has the physical advantages. I always say don't like one person because they're not the other person. QB, that's logic. And what I've learned about sports is you can't bring logic to sports. Right? I learned that when Brad Kaya was here. I'm with you, Shy. I just tell you the info and thought process. Oh, Birdstone. Hey, I know, bro. No. Hey, I know where you're coming from. I know. No pressure. But you're bringing logic to sports. Logic is not sports. I learned that with Brad Kaya. People don't rank Brad Kaya high in terms of Miami Hurricane hierarchy as a quarterback because they say he didn't beat Florida State. As if he didn't do everything in his power to slice and dice that defense up every time he played them. He did that. But we are a tip field goal and we are a Everett Golson miraculous pass around Chad Thomas' arm for a first down away from potentially beating Florida State 2 times with Brad Kaye at the quarterback. But no one talks about that because that's logic. It's like, no. He didn't win, so it is what it is. TVD got Miami by the chokehold. Stone, I don't know. I mean, kind of going back to the Valenti point I was making is that TVD did something that you do. TVD did something that people do in the NFL, and is one of the main reasons why people say they prefer college over the NFL. TVD held out. Think about this for a second. Scholarships are 1 year, arrangements, right? They're like contracts, like what the NBA players do, where they sign for a year, you guaranteed to get them a year, and then they get to opt in the next year. I would say this though: it's time to have a mobile QB, and they don't gotta be Vic or Lamar, but Bird's a perfect example of mobile QB who need the defense on. You're right, but that's what TVD did. He opted back in after being able to finagle some more money. That's what he was able to do. That's what his agent was supposed to do. And so that's going to become more rampant, right? But again, he doesn't have those physical abilities over them anymore, right? The whole when we were all enamored with he can throw it from one hash to the other side of the field. You can't do that as consistently anymore. The pass that he dropped in the bucket to Jacoby George against UNC, Jakari and Emory, they can't make that throw. Not under duress. Like, we gotta think that pass was made under duress. Even the beautiful throw that he made to X along the sideline, that's nothing more than timing and knowing where the guy's gonna be. Mobile QBs can struggle too. Folks were hyping JB11, but now they on the Emory bandwagon. QB, hey. They need to get one. I got him. That boy Judd can run, and most of his best throws on the run. Our best years with mobile QBs were 2017 Rozier and 2020 King. Facts. You know the funny thing about those 2 years, Stone, is that both those guys had somewhat the same issue. King was more accurate than Rozier, but neither one of them scared the defense with throwing. They didn't scare them, right? They would pack the box, and a lot of that could be attributed to the wide receivers that we have, maybe not getting open, maybe the wide receiver coach we had, but that was the issue with those two guys, right? But TVD doesn't have that advantage. And usually what people say is when the young player and the old player are equal, you go with the younger guy. And I'm not opposed to putting Emory in the game. I'm not opposed to putting Jakari in the game. I'm not opposed to putting either one of them in the game right now because Tyler doesn't have he doesn't have that advantage over them. All he has now is experience. And right now, the experience doesn't look like it's prevailing. Now, title of this video are the Miami Hurricanes trying to have a modern version of the 2001 offense. And I think that's what we're trying to do. It's so wild that mid-season we're about to literally change. We're literally about to change the offense. The beginning of the season, I wish Emory well too, but just like TVD, when the defense rushes through drop 8, what does he do? Because run is an option or he hasn't shown it. We're about to run the ball. We're literally about to change it. Like X was on pace for 100 catches. That's over with. Jacoby George was in for a good year. Kobe Young, that's over. Kobe Young, in my opinion, is about to become the number one primary target. And we're about to run this ball. Because I was looking at it, I said, man, Florida State got a high-powered offense. Louisville got a high-powered offense. It's all Mario's fault. He did not bring anyone in the China TVD. You know what, Stone? I agree with that statement. This particular offseason, I know some people wanted him to bring someone in after the 2022 season. I meant before the 2022 season, or whatever the situation is like that. Since no, wait a minute. Hold up. No, Stone, I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that because this was my thinking, right? I I feel right into it, where it's like, hey, he's bringing back an offense that he's comfortable with. We're gonna give him some protection, and I think he shall be fine, right? So TVD's a gunslinger. Mario slow run, don't miss. You got to drop it back from Malik Murphy from Texas next year. It's gonna be a lot of. I mean, it's gonna be some portal option. Rozier run FSU and GT back to back. Rozier will limit to be also won his fair share. Look pocket QBs have had shaky seasons just like the Melbourne QBs have period. But to keep defense honest, go mobile. Yeah, I don't disagree with that statement, Birdstone. But I think that's where the offense is. I think that's where the offense is heading. I think that TVD being as hobbled as he is, I think that this particular offense it lends itself to a younger quarterback because it's gonna put the younger quarterback in positions to where all you gotta do is just make a pass in one-on-one coverage, and the wide receiver has to do his job, right? So because that's what that's essentially what Florida State did last year. Now, shot, I would be the first to say we need to go back running the ball back heavily. That's what made Miami who they is. Let history repeat itself, and I love it. Yeah, I agree. That's what I see. I believe they saw something against Clemson. We're not gonna play another. We're not gonna play another defense like that. See that right there? Why go get Malik Murphy when you got similar QB on the roster? Stronger arm struggles. You know, Birdstone. Birdstone. This my thing, bro. I I feel like this. If you recruited a quarterback and Jakari um would be in the system, would have been a third year college player going into next season. Emory Williams is in his second year, and you're bringing in Judd. I mean, you may want to bring in or whatever, but I'm rolling with the guys we got. I think Coach Cristobal and staff have done a good job to insulate, you know, young quarterbacks because that's what you need. A young quarterback to keep his composure, he needs to be protected, right? He needs to be protected, and then as he gets more experience, and if something breaks down, he'll know where to go with it. A good offensive line allows for him to maybe, okay, that's not there. Let me go over here. Okay, that's there. So that's what I think was the issue with Brad. With Brad, honestly, and I think that's what helped Brad. Brad had a good offensive line his freshman year, not so good his sophomore and junior year, but he was a much better quarterback his sophomore and junior years because of the experience and understanding. Like, okay, I know what it's like to have a pocket. I know what it's like not to have a pocket. So I know what I need to do. Anthony Richard was mobile, but struggled going 6-6. Florida fans will tell you cool with mobile QBs, but we had like a mobile QB mean victory. Oh, y'all having y'all back and forth right there. I mean, you got. I mean, it's without question. You gotta have a quarterback that can move. I mean, Mario can have the best offensive line in the world. I remember the year that Oklahoma made it to the playoffs that year, and I think their offensive line won like the Joe Moore Award. But Baker Mayfield, yeah, that was the year of Baker Mayfield because that was the crazy game they had against Georgia in 2018, where they were back and forth. But even though Baker had that great offensive line in front of him, Baker still had to get out of the pocket to make some plays. And it just looked at, the pass that TVD made when they didn't call the face mask, bro, that was some of the most, it just, That didn't look good, man. That just didn't look good. Oh, that didn't look good, man. Like that was like that hurt me watching it. My legs started to hurt when I see TVT over. I was like, bro, what? Like, come on, man, you can't do that. Um, but yeah, Judd similar to Jakari, not as fast, but big arm. They can run if he hit the portal, get a QB's performing. However, the team may not be up to pat like Hartman, Devin Leary, PV QB, not a project. Jakari averaged 2 TDs a game even in high school unless he really work on his arm and field vision. That's his ceiling. I don't know, Miami. I don't really like comparing high school to college because a lot of things are different. Because in high school, if you got one player and he's really good, then you're basically building your game plan around him. Whereas in college, especially at Miami, you have the ability to go and get equally as good, equally as good of talent, and you can help build and shape and mold him into what they want him, what they want him to be. I don't know what Jakari's ceiling is. I mean, the sky's the limit, But like I said, that's just my opinion. People can agree with it or they can disagree with it. But I just know that from just kind of looking at other quarterbacks that were similar, those guys that kind of struggle with accuracy, especially missing high, what they had to do was they got them some bigger pass catchers. I still remember Cam Newton. And that was the biggest knock on Cam, was that when Cam missed high. But kudos to Auburn that particular year, even though those guys are forgotten. But Cam had some large guys that he was throwing the ball to. Like, he didn't just, like, it wasn't just him running a whole bunch of touchdowns. He threw a bunch of touchdowns too. And he threw it to some guys that had some size. So that's really my opinion. And I go back. Like, let's say that was Isaiah Horton instead of X. Let's say that was Kobe Young instead of X. Let's say that was Arroyo if he wasn't injured instead of X. What if that was Will Mallory instead of X? Like, it's just so many different variables. Like, if that was anyone taller, that's a completed pass. We're not having this discussion. We're having this where it's like, man, bro, Jakari saw that Clemson had a busting coverage. He delivered a great ball. We ran it. We got a touchdown. And we got a big gain on Clemson. That's the difference. That, kind of going back, and I'm gonna read these comments, but that reminds me of like 2012, right? When we go up to Chicago to play Notre Dame, Stephen Morris drops back. He throws a rocket shot to Philip Dorsett, and Philip Dorsett drops the ball, right? He drops the ball, but had he caught that pass, maybe the outlook of that game would have looked a heck of a lot different, because we were able to hold our own for the first half, but the second half they just took off. But it's just that some things can happen. It's just like people saying, "Hey, if we would have took the knee, we'd be 7-1 right now." So it's like, if we wanted to apply that logic to a win-loss, let's apply the logic to Jakari and say, look, if there was a taller guy out there that he threw the ball to, we're having a completely different story here. I understand, people that went to Canes Fest and they saw what they saw. I wasn't there. I'm getting secondhand information. But until I see it with my own two eyes and see that he can't complete passes to taller receivers, then I'm just going to stand on that hill, Tattoo Terry, you think because the O-line has been doing great for pocket passing that Mario didn't want to add that wrinkle to that? Blocking for a Milby QB is different, easy to get a hold when they take off. Tattoo Terry, I don't know. Because that's not new for Coach Cristobal. Anthony Brown, even though he was kind of hindered with the knee, he was a mobile QB. Justin Herbert could move around a little bit. So I don't think that's an issue, but I tell you what is going to be an issue, and shout out to Flo and John on their breakdown, because I was listening to them while I was working today, and we share the same thought. Like, if you're going to hand the ball off and there's no threat for the quarterback to pull it and run, that backside end is going to crash that play every single time. And we seen that happen. They're going to crash that play every single time. Now, I'm not going to say that one particular play is a reason that maybe Jakari should be in the game. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying you do limit yourself if that's your play call, because it's like, hey, if If that backside end crashes all the way down, he knows that he don't have to respect the quarterback to pull it to run, right? So that's the way I look at it. Stone, no QB more spoiled than TVD. Year one, he has no line. Year two is Josh Gaz. Year three, what's the excuse? Stone, those are some good points. Like I said, TVD listen, TVD is spoiled, but then also TVD is gonna be the most ridiculed quarterback until another quarterback inserts themselves in this, right? But right now, TVD is the most ridiculed, and he the most spoiled. Shout out OG Kane. Wasn't Vince his freshman year? We just remember Vince being USC, not the growing part. Birdstone, bro, Birdstone, check this out. Vince Young redshirted his first year. Let's put that in perspective. He redshirted his first year. And then it's like the old saying goes, nobody cares about the labor pains. Everybody just want to see the baby. That's all they want to see. They don't want to see the growing pains. They want to see the baby. And I said it 2 weeks ago. I said, if some of our fan base would have watched Vince Young his first year, the general consensus was, bro, this ain't a quarterback. He's fast. He's what, 4'4", 4'5". He's 6'4". Man, put him at receiver. Let him run routes with Lyman Swede. That would have been the thing. Jakari opens running lanes on read option plays. Okay, I just talked about that. Tattoo, yeah, JB could take it 60 like that. Canes Fest was scripted scrimmage. Yeah. The man won Pac-12, Anthony Brown, or got to a chip with him. He was trash at BC. You know what, Burst? I ain't going to say Anthony Brown was trash. I think what it was is that Anthony Brown made a very, very smart decision by going out to Oregon. Because BC and Oregon, not from just a play calling standpoint, was a similar offense, but it was a similar offense in the standpoint of like, look, we're not going to ask you to do too much. Just hand the ball off. Remember, he had Dylan, and I still remember that game. That joker was hurt, bro. Dylan was hurt, and still running the ball on us. I still remember that. That's crazy, but he did get into some trouble out there at Oregon in terms of just throwing the ball sometime. Anthony Brown beat FSU at BC. Anthony Brown was straight to me. Like I said, when we went up to BC. And I think Anthony Brown had a very efficient game. I like that play action was nasty that they had. And I think what we played them in 16? Or did we play them in 17? Whichever one of them years we played them. Yeah, see Burst AJ Dillon. Hey, see Burst you bringing logic to sports. We not here for logic. Anthony Brown beat FSU. Hey, Anthony Brown beat FSU. But yeah, man, Bird can't pick and choose who beat who not. Hey, but honestly though, my answer is still the same. If we go in the direction and put Emory in the game and we put Jakari in the game, is the defense and the run game, are they going to be there for the rest of the season? Anthony Brown at BC, no, Bird, he wasn't that bad. And you know what? And James Blackman, similar situation to like Jakari. James Blackman wasn't expected to play that particular year because that was supposed to be the year that what's the quarterback they had? DeAndre Francois. He was supposed to be the quarterback, but unfortunately, that's the risk that you take when you play against an Alabama team the first game of the season. And he got hurt, and James Blackman was, thrust into action. And then Francois with the, I think smoking or whatever, so Blackman had to go back up out there. So, it is what it is. Dylan ran for, man, A.J. Dillon was a problem, bro. He was a problem, for real, for real. I'm trolling on the Blackman thing. Okay. But the run game has to be there. Like the run game that we saw against Clemson, where we're averaging just right at 4 yards a carry. I think it was 3.7, 3.8. That has to be intact the rest of the season. The defense has to play at a certain level the rest of the season. And we have been experiencing, obviously Akeem Mesidor recently, he's out for the rest of the season. Najee Kelly, he's out for the rest of the season, right? The rotations, I think, at this particular point are starting to get a little bit tighter. I noticed that Corey Flagg played more snaps against Virginia than he's played throughout the whole season. I think he played right at 40. He's been kind of right at about 25, 27, 28. So he's playing a couple of more snaps. So, I mean, at this particular point, like, that has to be on point. It has to be on point. Well, let's talk about that. Are we witness to the fall of Dabo and Clemson? I don't know, man. We're going 3-3-5, I think. We're going 3-3. I mean, QB, I don't the formation is, what the formation is, but it's still at a point that we still are. This is what a lot of people were talking about in terms of the depth situation, right? We're going to 3-3-5, which does help because Jared Harrison Hunt can slide out to end and stuff like that. Flagg and Wesley both play 40 more than Cloyd. I didn't look at West snaps. I just saw that Flagg, played more snaps this particular week than he has in the past couple of weeks. So I mean, it's going to show that, hey, look, we are. The lineup is starting to get a little bit tight. It's starting to get tight right now, and the thing of it is that this style of what we're doing. Basically, he hasn't adjusted to the times, and he let Miami, UNC, and FSU jump them. What you talking about? Oh, you talking to Bird. Okay. So, are we sure that we're going to get that production, more depth at linebacker than D-line? Yeah, you know what? I say it's more depth. I mean, it's more guys at linebacker. I say that, but as far as depth, I don't know what the young guys can do right now. I don't know what more depth at linebacker than D line. I don't know what the freshman guys can do right now. To be honest, as far as like serviceable guys, oh, you talking about Clemson? Talking about Clemson? Oh, y'all are having a whole different conversation. Having a whole different conversation. Need to let the freshmen get some snaps. It's hard. I mean, like, think about this, bro. And I haven't seen this, right? And again, I don't want y'all to think I'm coming off as being pessimistic or negative Nancy, but I haven't seen any of those posts about we averaging 35, 36 points a game. Like, conference play has come, pause, and you think, and we're not scoring as much. We're not scoring as much. Our defense is giving up more, obviously, which I expected that in conference play. They're bending and not breaking because, I mean, I can't expect a defense to just stop an offense nowadays. There's just too many advantages for other teams' offenses to take off. But we got T State. They've always played us close. Right? Like I said, I still remember, what game was that? The 2014 game? Or maybe it was maybe it was 2013 game. Maybe it was 2014. Like, last play of the game, Stephen Morris throws a post route to Philip Dorsett, a walk-off touchdown. Like, those are the type of games that we've had against NC State. TVD's coming out party against Pauls. You can't say coming out party no more. You can't say coming out. He can't play against NC State. Call the shot. I don't know what's going on. But, Borregales, remember 2021, Manny Diaz put faith in him to go out there and make the kick, and obviously, he missed the kick. But so I'm sure that was good for him to go out there and make all three of those field goals because of that, of that particular situation. But so shout out to him. But yeah, this is what it is. You're right though, it's been close. Yeah, it's been close. UVA's been close. Like, I don't know what it is. And to be honest with you, the Atlantic teams have been better than the coastal teams. So while, with maybe the exception of UNC, I think UNC could probably tangle up. They're as good as, but like NC State has been good for a while. Obviously, Louisville has been off and on for some years. Obviously, we know about FSU, Clemson. Those like the Atlantic has run the ACC, and so it's almost like we're having to take a step up in level of competition almost to match these guys, and then we're going up there, right? But I would love it if whoever the quarterback is, whether it's TVD, whether it's Emory, whether it's Jakari, whoever it is, go up there and make a statement. It'd be great to see Cam to come out and have a good game. Like it's so much potential there for us to really take care of business with that style offense right now, because we got four serviceable backs. Chris Johnson is there. Bashard can come in. Citizen, he's still there. You got Ray. So we really got about 6 or 7 guys that we could really sit there and run the ball with. So it's there. The offensive line is blocking. It's there. So, I mean, I make it ugly, man. If we go out there and rush for 260, 275 and only throw for 130 yards, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I got to look at what's going on here. We got TVD who physically cannot do it right now. Emory don't know what it is that he can do. And Jakari is like, I don't know. So that's what we need to do. You ask QB, you think Dabo or Justin turns it around or he cooked? Man, Dabo going out like Jimbo Fisher, man. Like, but this is the thing though. What's different between that and the Jimbo Fisher situation is Dabo is purposely doing this, right? Like he's purposely doing this. He doesn't want to get involved in NIL, even though I'm sure they are. Doesn't want to use the portal. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that he's not going to let it go up in smoke. No, I don't think he's cooked because he's done what he needed to do. He brought Jeff Scott back, which was their superstar wide receiver coach. Jeff Scott's back in the building. Chad Morris is back in the building. And I said this, leading up to the Clemson game. I don't think Dabo may be dumb, but he ain't stupid, if that makes sense. He may be dumb, but I don't think he's stupid. Because a stupid person, and I'm not poking fun at anyone that's been clinically diagnosed with a mental disorder. I'm just speaking in just relative terms. I just think I have to say that in today's climate. But you be stupid to allow for your ego to cost you $10 million a year. You be stupid to do that. The only person I know stupid enough to do that was Les Miles. Nobody else's mindset is like that. So I think he's done what he needs to do. But Clemson has to. They gotta do something. He gonna have to get Jeff Scott back on the field to help recruit. Like I say, Chad Morris is there. He's the architect of this new Clemson offense, which it has changed since Taj Boyd and Deshaun Watson was there, and even the early days of Trevor Lawrence. But I fully expect for Clemson to be a better team next year. This is what happens. Now, I know I got on Coach Hayes' show, and I was just, I was a little hyped because I was hot, because I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear y'all throwing excuses out talking about we beat a bad Clemson team when y'all ain't never beat a good Miami team. So I don't want to hear that. But realistically, taking, my emotion out of it, it's like, no, like, I see what they're doing. Like, but if this fails, like you done got all this, if this fails, then yeah, like they're cooked. But I don't think it's so I take that back. I don't think it's like Jimbo, because Jimbo just quit on the job. Like Jimbo just quit. Like he just took his ball and he ran out to College Station. I don't think Dabo is quitting, right? And I know somebody asked the question on Twitter, do they feel like the team has quit on Dabo? I think Dabo's looking ahead at spotting Tuscaloosa. He sees the king is getting ready to step down and maybe getting distracted. But Birdstone, this is my thing. And maybe this is just not me. And I know this your alma mater. But bro, you are the architect of Clemson. You are the Forrest Gump of coaching. Like, I mean that in no disrespect. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect them. You're Forrest Gump. Like, you have done some amazing stuff, and nobody can sit back and say, we're still sitting here. How did Dabo fall into this? Like, how do you fall into two generational quarterbacks? How do you fall into a Sammy Watkins, a Mike Williams, a Justin Ross, like Amari Rogers? Like, how do you fall into an elite defensive line like that? How do you have the foresight to say, I'm not gonna let what happened to Brett Venables at Oklahoma take away from the fact that he's one of the best defensive coordinators in college football? You Forrest Gump. We do not know how any of this happened. All we know is Clemson is gone. All we know is Clemson is not just the best team in the ACC. They're one of the best teams in all of college football. They did something on the biggest stage that nobody could do, and that's beat Alabama. And to this day, I don't know how you did it. Jimbo, I know Jimbo was fed up, but QB, you're a grown man. You can't be quitting. You can't be quitting on the kids. I mean, like, you can't be quitting on the kids. Clemson not. Oh, I know. Clemson's not Bama. I know that. But the thing of it is like the old saying is, you don't want to be the man after the man. You want to be the man after the man that's after the man. That's what you want to be. So whoever comes in next, if they crap the bed, then you can slide right in. But Dabo, you can't, bruh, you can't be stupid. Like, for you can't be stupid. The big three were down, and Dabo took advantage of recruiting in Florida. I don't know, because QB, I think, but you know what, QB? I'll say this. Let me say this. Dabo was able to take advantage of Georgia and Clemson. Because think about this. Mark Richt didn't even want Deshaun Watson. He didn't want Deshaun, think about, bruh is really Forrest Gump. And I'm not saying this as disrespectful. He is really Forrest Gump. Scar Breeze. Clemson beat Bama because of the real. Hey, Scar Breeze, you know what? I think those games should have happened in reverse order. I thought Clemson was the better team in the first title game, and I thought Alabama was the better team in the second title game. Because, the first title game, when Jalen Hurts was there, and they couldn't, for whatever reason, they couldn't stop O.J. Howard. They just kept leaving O.J. Howard wide open. And the second game, but hey, they didn't call it. So, but getting back to what I was saying, QB, he took advantage of Mark Richt not wanting Deshaun Watson. And then also, like you say, and I don't know if Sammy Watkins would have, at the time he got Sammy Watkins, Florida State was buzzing a little bit. I'm trying to think about what was going on in the Florida landscape at that time. I think, obviously, Will Muschamp was there. At Florida. Jimbo was at Florida State. And obviously, we had Al Golden at that time, I think. So he still, like QB, he still had to they still couldn't beat Florida State, So I don't know how Forrest Gump was able, bruh, you can look at Alabama and say, okay, I know how Alabama was built. You can look at Georgia. Okay, I know how Georgia was built. Ohio State. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how was the Clemson program, how was it built? How do y'all go and get an SEC defensive line? How do you do that? You had a defensive line that even Florida State didn't have. And Florida State was replicating the SEC. Like you had a defensive line that SEC schools did not have. How did you do that, Forrest? How did you do? Like you were, like, bro, you were not a coordinator. You were, listen, think about this, bro. Clemson said, F it. F it. Look, let the little, like, think about it. Dabo, how were you chosen to be the interim head coach in the first place? Like, if you are stupid enough to allow for this opportunity to slip through your hands, bro, you shouldn't coach ever again. I'm just being honest. I don't think he gets Bama either, but coaches know Saban maybe has a year or two left, and the throne would need a new king, maybe Deion, Dabo, Dave Whittingham, Lanning, Elko, eyes are on the throne. Elko. Lanning. You know what? The thing about Lanning Birdstone, I think Lanning is a West Coast guy. I think Lanning looks like an Oregon coach. Like, he looks like he would be like Mike Bellotti. Like he would just be fine. Because, again, we got to know, Oregon is going to the Big Ten. Oregon is going to the Big Ten, so it's not like you missing out on something. I could see Lanning staying over there, especially with USC looking like what's going on right now. But that's just me. Mike Elko looks like a Midwest guy to me, but I can see Mike Elko. But you know what? I can see Mike Elko potentially being a candidate for the A&M job. I can see that. Whittingham, I don't think Whittingham is leaving. Deion, if Deion left, I think Deion will leave for a Texas school or maybe. You know what, bro? Burst, I'm going to say this, bro. Deion like the type that Deion would go coach at Florida. Because Deion don't like he care about no rivalries. Deion, like everybody talking about Florida State. No, I think Deion would go to Florida. That's what I think. Ryan Day to me, I think Ryan Day might go back to the NFL. And like you say, Dabo would be stupid to leave Clemson, but that's your alma mater, so I would understand. Tattoo Terry, Clemson has a whole movie based around that football program at Debo. I agree, Dabo just waiting on that Bama offer. I wonder if Bama's going to go out to prime. No, Alabama ain't going after no prime. No, they're not doing that. He beat FSU a couple times before Jameis got there. Jameis left and they started to beat them again. When did they beat them? When Jameis was there? I don't remember them beating. I don't remember Taj Boyd beating EJ Manuel. I remember them beating them after James left, but maybe I could be wrong though. But I vividly remember like they never got over that hump. Taj Boyd couldn't do it. Like EJ Manuel was like he wasn't good, but like obviously just Florida State was just a better overall talented program. But without the Affleck commercial with Saban, bruh, Birdstone, that's Affleck. That ain't Tuscaloosa. That's Affleck. I can't see Deion doing it. Like I said, if Deion go, I see Deion going to Florida. EJ got hurt, they beat them with the backup. Who was EJ's backup? Okay. If Harbaugh get fired, Elko goes to Michigan. That would be a great fit. Elko to Michigan, that'd be a great fit. But you know what? The thing about the Michigan job, if Harbaugh gets fired, Michigan's gonna be. They gonna make an example out of Michigan. They're gonna make an example out of Michigan. So that's gonna be. If you touch that job, you gotta get some guarantees in the contract. Like, look, they gonna put us behind the 8 ball for at least 4 years. The FSU O-line. Oh, trick it. Oh, I thought they won with Trickett though. Yeah, I remember old Clint Trickett. Yeah, Clint Trickett. But yeah, but QB, you closer because you from Tallahassee. So, bruh, like them years, like they run together at some point to me. Um, and Ellen says Saban retiring. No, I don't think Saban retiring. I think Saban gonna do like Steve Spurrier though. I think he's gonna end up being some type of like special advisor to the head coach, um, or whatever the situation is like that. I'm sure he'll be very, very close to the situation. I'm gonna tell you who. I'm gonna tell you what though. They've reconciled their differences. I tell you who could probably be in contention for that. I think if Nick Saban had a choice, I think Nick Saban would probably pick Lane Kiffin to be his successor. That's who I think Nick Saban would want, because even though they fell out and did what they did, it seems like they've reconciled those particular differences, and I'm sure like Lane shows like the utmost, you know, respect and honor to Nick Saban. So I think if Nick Saban had a choice and he talked to the administrators, which I'm sure they would value his opinion to the utmost, knowing that he'll still be around the program. I think I could see Lane Kiffin being his successor. I could see that. But as far as just an outsider, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't really know. It would to me it would be. And the bad thing about recycling culture, but I see that I can see Lane going to Alabama before Dabo Swinney. I can see that. Right, I can see that. Both Michigan schools gonna be hurting for a while. Michigan State gonna be hurting. The thing about Michigan, the NCAA is gonna punish them, but Michigan has so much pull. They got so much pull and so much cachet in that particular conference that the first maybe 2 or 3 years of this ordeal is gonna be painful, but they gonna bounce back like Penn State did, and even better, right? But as far as what Michigan is doing right now, I can't. I just can't see another coach going to Michigan and doing what Harbaugh is doing right now. I don't see another coach right now. And obviously I don't have a radar of all the coaches, but Jim Harbaugh is the perfect coach for that job. We're not gonna get the most talent. The talent that we do get, we got to make sure they perform at the level that we thought they did. And the guys who are not performing well or not highly regarded, we got to make sure they exceed expectations, right? Just like the little running back they got, Blake Corum, exceeding expectations. Offensive line, we got to make sure we winning up front on both sides. They've done that. He's done a fantastic job of hiring not just coordinators, but support staff. And again, bro, I mean, I respect it. Hey, what the old saying is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. They just took it to a different level, though. You know, that's wild right there. Man got a whole manifesto about how you run the Michigan program. Maybe he can be the next coach. I don't know. Elko would be perfect for Michigan. I mean, Birdstone, if you kind of look at, if you're looking at it from the similarities of what he's done at Duke and kind of like going back into that Michigan mode, I could see that. But I'm sure Mike Elko, his stock is so high right now that Mike Elko would want concessions in his contract to say, look, hey, y'all can't even talk about firing me until year 6. Like, we can't even have that conversation to year 6, especially if the NCAA dropped the hammer. I'm going to tell you somebody else, though. Lance Leopold from Kansas, what he's doing out there with Kansas, he's going to be a hot commodity. He's a guy that's been a winner everywhere. So, yeah. But, you know, it is what it is, you know. And that's the thing I hate about the piss poor performance of us in the ACC, because we should be able to have that, even though we're not one of the founding schools of the ACC, We were brought to the ACC to dominate, and we have not been able to obviously hold up our end of the bargain, and we do not have the clout nor the cachet in this particular conference that we should. And that's my problem when people talk about, hey, let's go to another conference. Okay, that's cool, but who are we gonna bump out of that spot? Like, say, for instance, you go to the Big Ten, which if we left, I prefer to go to the Big Ten. But think about this: Ohio State and Michigan, that's their conference. Michigan is one of the founding schools of the Big Ten. That's their conference. Ohio State, that's their conference, right? So the University of Miami, you're not gonna be. It's just like the Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma. That was their conference. Now Texas thinking they about to go to the SEC and do all this. Like, nah, you ain't doing that. Not over Alabama. Not over Georgia right now. Y'all not gonna be able to do all that little BS that y'all do. So I think, and that means something, right? Shy, but with how this season has gone with the officiating, has this made you want to put the ACC even more? I guess, or it's just the way the cookie crumbles, and we're gonna get that no matter where we go. Tattoo Terry, I'm glad you asked this question, because that kind of goes hand in hand with what I just, what I'm saying about the legacy and the prestige of these schools that are in this particular conference. Like, if we go to the Big Ten, I most definitely expect for the calls that we're not getting right now, and the calls that we are getting, I expect that to be 2 times. I mean, just Tattoo Terry, put this in perspective, right? Ohio State and Michigan played in 2016, I believe. Jim Harbaugh's first year. Everybody in that stadium saw that quarterback did not get the first down. And guess what they did? They gave it to him. So imagine if Miami and Ohio State are in a game like that. Like they're not even gonna review it. Like if he even looks like he's getting close to the first down, and we can get over there and get mad and do all that, bruh. Sometimes you gotta be able to look at it from that particular standpoint. Like, I mean, it'd be great from a financial standpoint, but if anybody think that the Big Ten or even the SEC is not gonna look to try to bend the University of Miami over as much as they can, you got another thing coming, because we don't have we don't think about this. In the grand scheme of things, please don't use Ohio State, because we already know. Well, studio, Michigan, how about that? Let's use Michigan. Same scenario. Let's say, friend, like, let's play this play right back out. Let's say Miami is playing Michigan. Let's replicate Georgia Tech for Michigan. That play would have been a fumble, and they probably would have called some type of personal foul and would have gave them 15 yards. And all they would have had to do was maybe complete a pass or run a couple of times. They in field goal range. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like no. It's like that's what it is. You got to understand who's buttering the bread. Miami is not buttering bread in the Big Ten, because think about this. The Big Ten got that big, massive TV deal because of what they already got. They don't care about bringing Miami. Like, Miami, you come, okay, cool. You just Miami. This is Ohio State and Michigan's conference. And so that's why, again, like I said, I don't like getting in that particular type of conversation, but I really wish it was a situation where we could reconcile the differences in the ACC. I really do. Because I think that it being adjacent to like someone like I think it was Cam Underwood on the show one time. No, it wasn't. It was the Valenti show. And they said everyone's talking about the conference realignment and all this stuff, and they're thinking about football, but they're not thinking about basketball. They're thinking about all the other sports. Think about this, like, say for instance, Miami basketball team, let's say they got a schedule, they got to go to North Carolina, then they got to go out to Stanford in the same week. Nobody's really taking that in consideration. Yeah, it's cool you fly over to Dallas, but you gotta go out to Stanford. You know what I mean? So nobody's really thinking about that. But for real though, I just sorry, Shy. We consider the N word school so cool. That's that's crazy. Because that's the impression, and I think a lot of people that are in those positions of the school, they don't like Miami being thought of like that. Their football team is the face of the school. Michigan, Ohio State, they don't care about that because they looking at it from the money standpoint. The University of Miami is not looking at it. We want the medical program. We want the academics to be the resounding thing when you think of if you ask just any random person, hey, when you hear the University of Miami, what's the first thing you think about? Man, I think about the U. They ain't talking about the school. They ain't think about the school. They think about the football team. Because like you say, Studio, there's so many people they may think that Miami is a black school. They may think that, but it's not. Big Ten would have ruled that a fumble plus a face mask on TVD with first and goal on the one. Oh, QB. TVD threw the interception. He chased the GT defender down. So let's say it's a Michigan defender. Bro, they may have called excessive roughness, late hit out of bounds. They would have called unnecessary roughness. They think, Ellen, they think Miami is an HBCU. For real. Because if you think about it, like most people, like I say, people ask me, I tell them I'm from Mississippi. Oh, you like Ole Miss? I said, no, I like Miami. And so it's kind of like, oh, okay, I understand. But it's like you think it because you think Miami a black school because of the representation. Press us and stack the box for a long night. Hey man, I'm for real though. I don't think nobody is putting that particular perspective out there. They get FAMU and Miami Cubs mixed up. They kind of close. But that's for real. And I'm sure the people that go there for academic purposes, right? And the people who are not sports people, they probably hate to hear that. They probably hate to hear that because you already got the stigma of the city of Miami, even though the school's in Coral Gables. Because when people think Miami, depending on who you talk to, you got some people say, okay, well, Miami's a black city, but not like an Atlanta black city, but it's like a black city, even though it's very diverse down there. But that's what they think about. And you think the University of Miami, okay, well, it's probably somewhere in the hood, kind of like how a lot of HBCUs are, just it is what it is. When that's so far from the truth, because you got a football so no, bro, no. But I think, like I said, people got to think about that when you talk about switching conferences. You got to really stop and realize, check this out, bro. You going in here with schools that got storied history in this conference. Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin. Luke helped that stigma too when too loud. Yeah. In the studio. And that's probably why some of those people still don't like Luke now. Because we would have rather the money, the extra money that came into the city, but we don't want the negativity. We don't want people thinking that Miami is the school of me so horny. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that. Like that same show listening to Valenti, right? These guys went to Michigan State alum, right? I'm sitting there listening to them talk about it. And they were saying something about Miami one day. It was like, oh yeah, man, back in the day, 2 Live Crew, man, they were running on the field with the University of Miami. Shoot, man, they had all the rappers and all this stuff. I was like, bro, them folk weren't about to let Uncle Luke come out no smoke. The other day, he started to hate with Catholic. QB, think about that. Think about that for a second, right? That ain't nothing but thinking that Miami a black school to put that up there, bro. I mean, it sold. It sold the game. It made the game like that. But think about that. Of all the schools that y'all played, that's the school that you do that. Like you know the '80s, and we know the '80s is wild. You know, with this being a night game, we got to come out full thought. No conservative play call against this team. You got to attack consistently. They don't give up. NC State gonna come in with the same way they at home. They gonna come in. They just beat Clemson. Dave Dorian, he mad with Steve Smith. Did y'all hear that? Dave Dorian told Steve Smith he can kiss my ass. He told Steve Smith. Dave Dorian hot. He told Steve Smith how he felt about it. So, come out conservative play call. Burnstar, I don't know. TVD can't do it. And this is another thing too. I don't know what the temperature gonna be, but I'm like in South Georgia right now, and I think it's like, gonna be like 60, like 50 something, right? Like tonight. So I already know, like in North Carolina, this particular weekend night game, it's probably gonna be in the 50s. So I'm sure TVD, any ailment that he got, is gonna be bothering him, and that's the last thing you want. You don't want to be hurting, and get hit and fall and get knocked on the ground, because the ground gonna be hard. Pause. Oh my God. But no, I don't know. But what I will say is we gotta come out early and punch him in the mouth. I agree with that. Full throttle. We got to attack with the run game. I agree with that. We gotta punch him in the mouth for real though. Defense gotta be ready to roll. NC State defense is why they win games. They rely on them to set the tone and build momentum. We can use pop passes, wheel routes to help TVD. He can't push the button. Burst, I'm gonna be honest with you. With the way TVD just looked this past weekend, I wouldn't listen. Put in the Emory Williams playbook if TVD's rolled out there. Put it in there. Don't throw nothing over 10, 15. Don't throw nothing over the middle. Because he's going to be late. Don't throw nothing over the middle. Like I said, we got 6 guys that are capable of getting the ball. Hey, Dawson, let's get creative in the run game. Let's do some counters. Let's pull the guards. Let's pull the tight ends. Let's really make this a game. Like, I know statistically they have a good run defense, but they ain't faced the offensive line like this. So let's test them and see if they break. If we use the Emory playbook, put Emory in here. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You know why, Birdstone? Because TVD got the ability to check out of it. Emory ain't checking out of it. So no. So you about right. You about right. I don't know, man. I'm expecting a good game, man. You know, I feel like we should win. I think we've shown some things the past 2 weeks, especially the red zone defense. I think that's gone not a lot of people talked about that, the red zone defense. Speaking of that, I didn't even talk about the decision to go to overtime. I'm going to say this. I was more for that decision against Clemson than I was this past week. I will say that. Simply because I felt like our defense was starting to get fatigued at that particular point, and our offense wasn't doing anything our offense wasn't doing anything to help our defense out. So I was more in favor of the decision last week than I was this past particular week. But I mean, I'm not gonna argue and say he was wrong for doing it, because even though that was the case, I did think that was the right. I did think it was the right thing. I agree, we have a bend don't break defense, and I ain't mad. You can't be mad, Tattoo Terry. You can't be mad because I mean that's what you got to get right now. And the funny thing about that, to bring back Mark D'Onofrio, that was one of the things that Mark D'Onofrio talked about, was that was one of the metrics or the statistics that he wanted to be good, and that was red zone defense. He wanted the red zone defense to be good because it's like, look, if we prevent you from scoring, you can come up and down the field. But at the time, we don't want to hear nothing about no bend don't break. But that's the thing about the bend don't break defense. it has it's not looked at as being a negative anymore. It's almost looked at like it's like an asset because it shows that in a condensed situation, our guys are executing at a high level, and it's already tight windows down there for the offense. So I'm happy about that. Nah, TVD was rattled. We had to go to OT this game last week. We had over a minute, so that was a screw up. Studio. Listen, I'm not gonna argue one way. One way, I know some people were upset about it. I wasn't upset about it against Clemson, to be honest, because I'm just like, we are physically beating them. Like they can't stop us running the ball, and you know they can't run the ball. Like it's just it's a lot going on. So I wasn't upset last week. Like I said, this particular week, yeah. No, you don't risk TVD out there. You don't risk it. You know, even though maybe you could have threw a screen or something like that, but probably at this stage of the game, they knew TVD wasn't gonna push it deep, so they probably sit up on that. So, I'm not a coach. I'm not gonna replay the sequence of events in my head. But I thought it was good. Nope, I supported Mario decision this week more so than last because Emory was playing solid and didn't need a turnover. TVD, we couldn't afford a turnover. Yeah. Well, Burst, I don't think we could afford a turnover in either scenario, honestly. But like I said, the reason that I was more comfortable with it last week than this past game is simply because I hadn't seen us do nothing against their particular defense that was just like it didn't show like that Mark Fletcher run to win the game. I didn't see anything leading up to that particular point, even though we got the AJ Allen run where he hurdled the guy, which was a great run by him. Even with that particular run, I didn't see anything that made me say we're gonna win this game running the ball. I didn't see that Mark Fletcher play, honestly. I didn't see it. But, I'm glad it happened. But I was comfortable with our defense. Mario figured out our identity that is pound and play defense, but we still can throw, should run more until TVD get better imagery. TVD is not gonna get no better. That man literally has added additional equipment as the season. He started the season off with the index finger wrapped and ankles taped. Now he got the finger wrapped. He probably got a bigger flak jacket on for his ribs. He probably got some type of compression on for that bruise that was on his leg. And he got a knee brace on. So if anything, TVE is falling apart. And it's about to get colder. So it wouldn't surprise me if this particular week, if it's leaked out that Emory is getting more first team reps, but it's just me. But studio, I agree 100%. That's why on the thumbnail I got what it is. Hey, look, can the run game, carry the weight to finish the season out. 3-yard ground and pound early turns into 10 yards. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, Birdstone. I didn't see nothing against Virginia that led me to think that Mark Fletcher that we were gonna be in position to make that play that Mark Fletcher made. I saw that against Clemson because I said they've been out here for a while, and we getting 3.5, 4 yards a carry. We go to overtime, man. It's over with. That's the way I felt in the Clemson game. I didn't feel that way last week. To be honest with you, I actually thought to win that game, maybe we would have ran one of those little corner routes that we run to X, where we get him isolated on the slot guy, and TVD puts it back over in the back pylon. I actually thought that was going to be the play to win the game. I didn't think that was going to be Mark Fletcher, but I'm glad it was, But yeah, man, I fully anticipate the offense to look more run oriented. What's good, Pilo? Now we need Jakari to play rest of the season. Imagine he pulls and takes it hard to stop. This way both QBs can redshirt. I thought someone said Mario said he wasn't concerned with Emory redshirting. And I just saw a clip. Someone posted that Shannon Dawson said that Jakari is going to be the emergency quarterback, whatever that means. So whatever it means to be the emergency quarterback, I don't know what that means. But yeah, studio, we talked about that a little bit earlier. That the ends are just gonna start crashing down on the backside if we don't have someone with the threat to pull it and run. And we know TVD not gonna do that. I knew TVD didn't want to run the ball no more against Georgia Tech. I knew that. And I don't know if Emory can take a hit. That's the thing. We don't know if Emory can take a hit. We know TVD can take a hit. He gonna bundle himself up afterwards, but we don't know if Emory can take a hit and still perform. P-Lo, all I know is I'm tired of time. Oh man. I would love to see Jakari play this game. I think it will open up the offense totally run lanes open and seams open. Jakari deep pass is his best attribute. I don't know, man. But the thing about it, if Jakari plays this week, we would have to pick like the quarterback redshirt situation is messed up right now. Because technically, Emory can't redshirt because you're the backup quarterback. So now maybe if Shannon Dawson's saying Jakari is the emergency quarterback, maybe he's saying if TVD is nicked up or something. But we got 5 games left. So we got NC State, we got Florida State, we got Louisville. Oh, never mind. I take that back. Yeah, we ain't got but 4 games left. My bad. Yeah. Okay, so we got NC State, Florida State, Louisville, and Boston College, right? Because we 6-2, so that's 8 games plus 44. Okay, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what y'all saying. My bad. I had my weeks mixed up. Oh, well, yeah. And then the bowl game doesn't count as a game. So, yeah. Who you got? Mike Tyson versus David Tua. Who is David Tua? He must have seen me on a boxing channel. I don't know. Mike Tyson? I know. It just carried up play one game. They screwing him, and I don't know why. I don't know, man. But I think, yeah, I think, bro, I just don't, bro. Yeah, we are in such a messed up situation. Well, it's a good situation, but the quarterback situation and TVD not playing, this is so messed up right now because we're still in the thick of it for an ACC title game, right? We're still in the thick of it. So now is not really the time to really just be experimenting with stuff. And to me, I've said what I said. I don't want to hear nothing about no packages. I want you to be able to come out there and the full assortment of the playbook. I think Jakari could. I think he could throw a curl route to Kobe and to George. I think he can do that. I think he can throw a screen pass. I think he can do those particular things. Why? What do we do about next year quarterback situation? Because Tyler's our biggest problem. P-Lo, I don't know what we do. Some people want to transfer. My thing is this: Jakari would have been here 3 years. Emory, that would be his 2nd year. Man, let them battle it out, man. I mean, the thing about about it, right? You want to bring in a quarterback in the spring, but I think with the way that the portal window is open, you let those 2 guys battle it out, right? You let those 2 guys battle it out. And if you don't see something from them, then after spring, I would try to bring in another guy. That's what I would do, right? I wouldn't bring in a guy right there in the spring because it's kind of like if you bring a guy in the spring, it's almost like because to get him there, you almost have to guarantee, like you can't, like especially like someone talk about like a Malik Murphy, you can't woo Malik Murphy to Miami by saying, oh, we're gonna give you an opportunity to compete. I can stay in Texas. I got the opportunity to compete in Texas. So if you bring Malik Murphy in, it's like, okay, you're gonna have you're coming in as the starter, and it's your job to lose. Whereas if after spring and you don't like what you see, then you can bring in a guy and say, okay, well, look, you can come in and start, right? Because we don't really see a path where these two guys maybe can get better over the summer and the fall. So we'll give it to you that way. That's what I would do, right? But I'm not getting paid $8 million. Even with the QB running stats and losses, we have 5.3 per carry average right now. How much do we really need TVD joke? But the run game really count as our identity, though. I mean, that's what that's what I kind of anticipated as the season, coming into this particular season. That's what I figured. But obviously, you had the Texas A&M game, and this was like, oh man, we balling, so we might throw it. But now TVD's hurt, so now it's kind of going right back into the situation. I'm gonna tell you this though. I don't know how much Shannon Dawson like this though. There's gonna be something to keep an eye on. They fighting. Oh, I didn't know Mike Tyson and David Tua were fighting. I know James Toney and somebody were fighting. I didn't know Mike Tyson had another fight. Okay. There's no way JB played all them games last year. Now he can't play this one year. Don't make sense. I mean, studio. I mean, he got 4 games left. So, I mean, I could see him. I could see him getting in the game. You know, I can see him getting in the game. But you know what? This is what I don't want, studio. This is what I don't want. I don't want the young man to get in the game, and because for whatever reason he has no margin for error with some people in the fan base. Like, say for instance, that pass that Emory missed to Jacoby George, where he should have threw it to the outside, he threw it to the inside. If Jakari makes that throw, man, the couple Kane fans that's at NC State, man, they might start booing, man. That's what I don't want, because I don't know how, again, like I said earlier, I don't know how a player can be criticized or fall out of favor over missing a pass to X and maybe not looking his sharpest at a organized scrimmage. I don't know how you fall out of favor that much. I really don't. We have to show something different on film for FSU to prepare for. We can't go up there being vanilla. I'm for running them into the dirt, but we have to be creative with the calls and no runs of first down. Hey, man. You saying no runs on first down is like saying that X is not TVD first read on all passing concepts. I'm just, I'm being honest. QB, you asked what was the run game against UNC. The Clemson plan won't work all the time. You know what, QB, the thing about Clemson, I mean UNC, like I said, I was at the game. I'm sitting there watching. I say we go from 4.8 a carry, and now we at like 3. I think we ended the game like 3.5. And it was like, I don't know. But, bro, UNC just wanted it more. They wanted it more, man. Like I said, I've gone to Miami versus Georgia Tech about 2 times, when they played in Atlanta. And I didn't see Georgia Tech wanting it more than Miami, even though they did beat us. I think that was 18. Yeah, they beat us 18. I didn't look at that on the field and say they wanted more. UNC wanted it more, right? CVD has issues, but the vanilla offense hinders him, and the offense is well vanilla, predictable, easier to stop. I don't know. I know some people are talking about it seems like it may be a clash with Dawson and Mario right now in terms of the direction that they want to take the offense. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Spring should be open QB competition anywhere between Judd, Emory, and Jakari, because the highest floor and ceiling QB is coming to compete in 25, and Luke Nickel kid is different. He has a little bit of everything. Okay. I think Birdstone, you talked about that before. I mean, I don't know. I mean, hopefully we can keep him locked up. That's a long way away, unless, now it's too late in the game. He's coming at 25. I thought he was a sophomore this year. Oh, I don't know. That goes to show I don't keep up with recruiting like that. I have yet to see again the creative goal line play that was called A&M with Jacoby motioning in halfway, then ran back to the flat. Was beautiful. Haven't saw anything close to that since. What's going on? First, I'll tell you what's going on. The run game is going on. Hey, he dialed up a nice goal line play for Kobe against Clemson. Not Clemson, but was it? Oh man, against A&M. He dialed up a nice play with it. But I don't know the run game. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Shannon Dawson's kind of in a. I'm sure he wants to do some things, and Tyler can't. He can't do it. He can't look over there at Mario and say, F it. If they match up, we ending this right now. You can't do that right now. Because the games are too close. The offense has begun to somewhat shudder a little bit, right? We went vanilla, started with G-Tech, and no one is putting two and two together. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to watch though, for real. Sophomore last year, he's a junior this year. Okay. He's right on time as far as commits for 25 because it's about to be. Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. So that means that he can recruit for us, stuff like that. So that'll be good. No, not the run game. The TVD is going on or not going on. I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm getting myself prepared for a 2023 version of the 2001 Miami Hurricane offense. That's what I'm preparing myself for the rest of the season. Because if our run game can replicate what they did these past 2 weeks for 4 more games, we're gonna be a tough out. If the defense can remain relatively healthy, and we can get a little bit, if we can get Davis to clamp down a little bit more, we're gonna be a tough out. And that goes for Florida State and Louisville. We're gonna be a tough out. But that's just too much like right. It's too much like right to expect that we are going to replicate this performance for the next 4 games. It's too much like right. That's what I'm saying. Studio teams are aware of TVD's inconsistencies and preparing for the run game because of it. P-Lo, I'm gonna say this. I don't care. To be honest, I don't care who the quarterback is. They're going like that's what's crazy because, again, like I said, we've seen this movie before. We saw this movie with Derek King and Malik Rozier. Teams were not afraid of us throwing the ball because of inconsistencies that they had, so they stacked the box and dared us to beat them. So, I don't know. We have had a run game all season. Just the feature back has changed. Yeah, I know the feature back has changed, but what I'm saying is, can we expect like for instance, right? In a perfect world against NC State, perfect world, we are at 42 carries, 240 yards on the ground. About, I don't know how much that is yard per carry, but I'm just saying about 40 plus carries, 250, 230, between 230 and 250 on the ground. That's in a perfect world. I would expect, I would want us to do that the rest of the season. But that's too much like right. That's wishing upon a star. I don't know if we can do that. And one of the reasons that I think we're not going to be able to do it, because, hey, ACC referees last week, we only got 2 penalties. I mean, they were for 20 yards, but we only got 2 penalties. If we get to running the ball too well, them yellow handkerchiefs gonna start coming out. That's why. That's what I'm skeptical of about just going all in on running the ball because them yellow handkerchiefs gonna start coming out if we running it too well. But it is what it is. But what we been on here? We've been on here 96 minutes. Yeah. But I'm gonna get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all hanging out. I might go live again later this week, and we can just kind of strictly talk about NC State. You know, usually these lives are just kind of a reflection of the game. And I'm sorry, but TVD can complete a dig route. It's only 12. Are you saying he can't? And he also can hit the. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. He can. He can also hit the hitches. My question is why no slants? I don't see slants runs at these. Okay. First, that was a great question because I ain't really seen an emphasis to throw a slant route. I think since like maybe the first game, I haven't seen the emphasis to like throw a slant route all game, like for a while, and like all other teams do that. So I don't know what that is. No crossing or drag routes either. Those have the QB keep it in front of them. Birdstone, man, sorry I'm late, South Coast. Oh, South Coast, you ain't late, man. 5.5 per carry would do it if we run 40 times. If that's what it add up to, I'm doing good. South Coast, how you doing? Hey, studio. If we getting 5.5 yards per carry, we got this. Hey, bruh, we got an outside shot at the playoffs, man. They can call holding on pass, but yeah, they can. But the thing about it, studio, with us, they only call it on the run plays. We still remember. Hey, the Nez Cooper phantom holding call that brought Henry Parrish touchdown back. I haven't seen too many holds. I mean, I've seen Mary Noah make a few, but if we get to running it too well, they gonna start thinking, something gotta be going on. They gonna call some holding. Haven't seen one drag across and ride, and that it's just annoying. I think, we had that against North Carolina. I believe on the first down we threw a drag route to Isaiah Horton. We threw one to Isaiah Horton. But no, that's not in the playbook. And it makes me want to be petty for all the people that said that we were saving plays, and I was under I told them straight up, like, nah, these are the plays. They just gonna come out of different formations, but these are the plays. No drags, no slants, no digs, no comebacks, just corner routes and curls, hitches and curls. Pass pro is excellent. Go watch Coach Hayes good. Yeah, I saw that. I watched it. He will show you our O-line chilling because they dump. Yeah. I mean, PFF supports that. PFF shows that we got one of the best pass blocking offensive lines in the entire, well, I ain't going to say entire country, but we have a very good pass blocking offensive line. What is this offense consistent at? P-Lo, we about to get consistent at running the ball. That's what we about to get consistent at. I think most people have given the general consensus that the season to watch or the year to circle is 2025, which I'm not gonna argue with you about it. If that's what you feel, 2025 is the year. Hey, it is what it is. But that's not gonna make me not want to see the rest of this year in 2024 look good. No, Kobe runs the dig, and when he does, TVD converts, and I'm saying, why not more of it? Oh, why not more of it? Are you talking about Kobe Young or Kobe George? Why not more? TVD said the middle of the field ain't there. I know why. The people that look at the film, they've said we've been teams have come out in more cover 2. So a dig route is not open in cover 2. I don't, I mean, I can look at film and do that, but I don't. That's not what I want to do. You know, that's I like the guys that do that. I don't do that. I can sit there and look at that and dictate it too, but that's not what I want to do. I like to just kind of talk. I like to try to be the antagonizer, the instigator of certain stuff, right? That's what I want to be. I want to be objective and real, but that's what they've said. Most people have said that for the past couple of weeks, teams have been playing us cover two. So if you know in cover two, especially like a Tampa two type of situation, um, the middle linebacker is right there in the middle. So in order for the quarterback to complete a dig route, I mean, you literally gotta. That's not a route that's open against cover two. It's not. That's why we've been doing a lot of the corner routes and deep outs and stuff like that. Those routes are open in cover two. Why the Dolphins 6-2 look way better? Hey, P-Lo, because the Dolphins scored 70 points on somebody. That's why. Young, when Kobe runs the dig, he converts and it's a chunk plays every time. Yeah, Birdstone. That's what it is. I think it's because, as again, this I'm just going by what they said. Right? Is that teams have been playing more cover two and maybe even like some cover four. Which in cover four, you could throw a dig. You know, you just it's about timing. And the thing about it is that does TVD have that type of timing if it's not man to man or something like that? Because man to man is just like you throwing a guy. You're throwing a guy open in zone, but I don't know. I mean, that's saying TVD can't read zone coverage. So that could be part of the issue. But again, I'm not the film guy. So that may be one of the questions you gotta ask one of the guys that watch the film. You know, why is it like the dig is not there as often? You run across under the dig, linebacker has to make a play. Well, yeah. That's what you do. The linebacker has to commit. I agree. But I don't know. Again, the film guys are saying the route concepts are not looking that good. Even though guys are open, but maybe that particular combination not open. I don't know. If X ain't running the dig, TVD ain't really looking for it. So it is what it is. But again, I'm gonna be like, all jokes aside though, Bird. All jokes aside. If X is the primary read on a lot of these plays, and X more times than not is peeling to the outside, then TVD is really never coming back. His eyes are never really coming back to the middle of the field until it's late. And we all know, we've heard it all the time, you can't be late back across the middle of the field. And so I think that may be part of the problem too. Yeah, X runs a lot. X runs a lot of option routes, and the option ends up him going to the outside a lot of times. What's up, IMAX? P-Lo, at least we're going to get a Heisman out of Bang within the next few years. Bro, if Bang win the Heisman, man, that would be Hey, for real? I'm not opposed to letting Bang play some tight end, man. Let Bang play both sides of the ball, man. Let Bang play both sides of the ball. Goal line tight end, man. Let Bang get down there and run a little delay, or let Bang go in motion. Let's let Bang play a little tight end, man. You know, let's see if we can get a Heisman out of Bang. We'll add to the mystique. You know, let Bang play a little offense. I'm not against that. Let him do it. Good night, y'all. I'm out. Peace out, Bird. Yeah, let Bang play a little offense, man. I'm not against letting Bang play a little offense. Yep. But anyway, like I said, bro, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Like I said, I'll probably try to go live later this week, and we can kind of talk about the NC State game a little bit more. Bang can make the Gatorade and cut the grass. Yeah. I want someone to make a meme of Bowie Miles, and they say, and he can pass. Let Bang throw the ball a little bit too. Yeah. All jokes aside though, for real. But anyway, man, peace, love. It's all about the Canes. I'm out. Appreciate you too, South Coast. Appreciate all you. P-Lo, Birdstone, IMAX, Studio, Ellen, QB, Tattoo Terry. Appreciate all y'all.